hapa kwa wasikilizaji na watazamaji. Kuna mmoja na hoji kwamba ulipokuwa katika ofisi yako kama naibu wa rais, kuna jamii moja almost constitute about 50% of staff in your office from your backyard. Does this worry you? This is Edwin Sirega from Migori asking that question. Labda ungejibu hilo swali.
Mimi ningeuliza kama inawezekana tuongee mambo ya maendeleo, kwa sababu naona hii interview tumeilegesha kuwa ni kama ni mambo dogo ambayo hainaweza saidia wasikilizaji.
Hiyo ni sauti ya mwananchi.
Ameuliza swali negative, soma zile positive comment pia iko, because nimeona positive comments kwa issue wakati ya break. Don't be selective, and I think it's also good you be professional. And don't reduce a national show we are asking questions that are dragging us.
We are very much professional.
Those are the questions being
asked by the people
on Facebook, and I'm sure you have Facebook as well, so you could just check. It's the
I
same
would
question.
think if we can take time to discuss the development of Nyanza, ingekuwa mzuri.
Okay. During your tenure,
because there's no need for us to spend time talking to a whole community on such a popular station just to deal with the trivialities. We have dealt with them enough. I think it's time you try. We see whether we can discuss issues that can change the lives of the people of Nyanza.
So matters leadership and governance.
I think we have tackled that half the show. We have tackled that half the show, and that is a problem we had when I had a show here with Okwara. We dealt with the whole show on trivialities and pettiness, and we lost the gist of the interview.
Okay, thank you.
It's also good for us.
Fair enough.
Because I think it's also important to discuss issues that can impact on lives of the people of Nyanza, and what are my thoughts. Yeah, and that's why I thought this interview was necessary. I cannot guide you on how to do the interview, but I thought it's responsible for you as senior journalists to also allow us to discuss.
Do you think responding to the people is worth your time?
Can change and impact on the lives of the people.
Is it worth your time responding to the people asking questions?
When are you going to ask issues that concern?
We are asking you questions from the people,
because they're also asking the same questions.
Even on
to start with,
questions.
My office was run by George Makagoy. He's the one who was employing people. So when you find him, you can ask him who was employed there and who was not. I have no details as to the people who was working in that office, other than the senior staff attached to me, where I had a say. Others were public servants that were picked by the Public Service Commission, and the then chief of staff would be in a better position to know than I.
Bishop Joseph Omuya from Bondo says, my question to Honorable Gachagua is this. He said that he was singing in the choir of Mr. President. How can Kenyans trust someone who can sing a song without care, even the song has something abusive words in the communities?
We leave that decision to the people of Kenya on the ballot day.
Do you believe the SGR will be beneficial to the Western region?
That's a good question now. Now we are talking. SGR.
That's a question from
that's
the same ones you're
now we are talking. Now we are talking. SGR is a very useful infrastructural intervention, not just for Nyanza but for Uganda. Yeah, and I think it can increase trade and movement of cargo between Kenya and Uganda. My only problem is that whether it's doable, because this promise has been there for the last 4 years, and it's coming on the last year of the election. What I would want the ODM people to do, and the people of Nyanza, politely, is to ask that this contract be published with the date of commencement and the date of completion, so that we know it is not a con, which I think it is. I could be wrong. And because I have seen these con games, we were promised Mau Road, barabara ya orofa ya kutoka Nairobi kwenda Thika. You know, I have been in this game before, and I know William Ruto and what he does in that direction here. What we are asking is for us to know that this project is real and it has been properly done. Because this company called CRPC has been used to con people. They went to Rironi Mau Summit Road and launched that road that we were told by William Ruto it will be ready by April. It has not started. And there's no contract.
When was the last time you were there?
No, I'm just saying, wait a minute, I tell you what's happening. There's no contract, so the contractors cannot start.
So there's no
What has happened,
nobody
they have been given some little money
okay.
from the National Social Security Fund, NSSF, to do what you call daily works. just clearing and giving an impression that something is going on. For Ironi Mausamet Road, I'm challenging the Ministry of Transport and Infrastructure to publish the contract between the government of Kenya and the Chinese contractors, showing the date of commencement and the date of completion. That contract does not exist.
But as the work started, have you seen the work?
There is no work that has started.
In the Ironi Summit,
what has started?
No work that
I've told you what is being done is what you call data works.
Are you being factual?
No, listen.
Because
I've been there.
I was in Nakuru
the other day.
I was also there.
No, I'm just telling you what is,
on that road.
I'm telling you what is going on is what you call data works.
The graders are there. Everything is there.
There. I've told you they are called data works, but there's no contract. So the actual construction of the road cannot start. So just the way I'm asking for the publication of the contract for the Ironi Summit Road, specifically showing the contractor, the amount, the scope, commencement date, and the date of completion. For SGR, I'm asking on behalf of the country and the beneficiaries and everybody else, because it's important and it's good for the country, we want the publication of the contract for the construction of the SGR, showing clearly the date of commencement and the date of completion.
In 2024, you flanked the president while in his tour in the Nyanza region, mukaenda mpaka Rusinga. Wakati huu kuna hiyo barabara imejengwa ikaisha. Do you think that there is any other tangible project that this government has done in the region?
I have not seen him launch any completed roads. I saw him launching. I would want our government, the one that we shall form, we shall borrow the model of Mwai Kibaki. Mwai Kibaki never launched any road or any project he commissioned when it's complete. I think that must be the new way of doing things, because many projects the president was doing in Nyanza the last 5 days, he has launched them before. There are routes in Meru he has launched 5 times.
Like which one did he launch in Nyanza during his tour?
I'm saying in our government, the one that we want to form with my colleagues, one of the things that we are all in agreement, we want to stop this launching business. We want to stop this inspection business. Let inspection be done by engineers, not politicians. The deputy president has no capacity to inspect a road. That is work of engineers. The architects, engineers, quantity surveyors, the professionals. A president or a deputy president or a minister for that matter in our administration will commission a complete project. This thing of launching is all nonsense. And it really annoys people because you keep on giving people false hope. Most of the projects that have been launched by the president in Western Kenya, he was there. Not an inch of tarmac has been done. He made an agreement with Musalia and Wetangula that he will do 1,000 kilometers of road. I was part there. Not a single kilometer has been done.
We are not talking about the Western.
No, I'm just giving an example.
Yeah.
You know, Nyanza did not have an agreement with him because they were in Azimio. But Western Kenya had an agreement with William Ruto. So an agreement is binding. The mountain had an agreement with him. That is why we keep on saying Nyanza did not have an agreement, so they really cannot put him to task, other than telling them promises. But I am saying, in future, in our government, the launching, inspection will not be done by politicians. We will do the commissioning when a project is done.
Let's come back to the Ironi Summit Road. So you've admitted that you've seen some works there.
Yeah, I've seen what you call data works.
So this is a PPP project. Why does it require any budget allocation? Because is it not being done by the same contractor China?
I've said you want to see a contract.
Hold on 1 second. We're just talking about this. Isn't it the same contractor who did the expressway? So why, if it is a PPP, why then would you need to see the contract?
There is no project that you do without a binding contract, because this money will be paid by taxpayers. It doesn't matter whether it's PPP or whatever it is. It will be paid by the people of Kenya. Anything that has a monetary implication must be founded on a contract that is binding and that has clauses also for default and liabilities.
Do you think the PPP is the way to go?
The PPP is too expensive. It's too expensive. I don't think it's necessary.
What option are you offering? Should you be the president of the Republic of Kenya?
I would just propose that we complete ongoing projects first before embarking on new ones.
Financing model, how we do go about it?
We just collect enough and we use it prudently without exaggerated figures, without putting in commissions for civil servants, and kwetu wanasema una pahali unajifikia. We do what is possible.
So if you take over, all these projects would stop, and
I'm
then
not saying
just
so. I'm saying we would want to complete ongoing projects before we embark on new ones.
If not through PPP, how would you want
we just raise enough revenue by having a very prudent mechanism of revenue collection, sealing all the loopholes, sealing all the leaks, and also using the money prudently.
When you came into office, you told us that the coffers were empty and that we were stretched thin.
But
so if we don't do it through PPP,
we started collecting.
How would you do it?
Funds.
Will you increase taxation?
We start collecting funds and use those funds for development, not for bribing voters. You have seen the budget of State House. When Uhuru Kenyatta was there, it was 4.5. It has gone to 17 billion. That 13 billion can do so many roads. That is money that is being wasted.
So you believe the government is too extravagant?
Yeah, there is always money that you collect from taxes, through VAT, through pay as you earn, through income tax. There is sufficient funds in this country, but we need to use those funds prudently for the purposes for which they have been collected from the people of Kenya, by stopping wastage and privilege.
So practically speaking, if you took over as the president, what is the first thing you would do?
It is to stop theft of public funds.
How?
Just that. Stop people from stealing from the top. Once the president stops stealing, nobody else steals. Once the president is stealing, everybody else joins in the gravity train. You stop it from the top. Once you stop from the top, it stops. It must be stopped.
How?
We also must
I'm
stop
still struggling
using,
with the how.
I will not have, by not allocating 17 billion to State House.
So you cut down the budget of
Yeah,
by
of
half.
course. Not just that. I've seen the deputy president is allocating 450 billion for choppers, for going around and doing politics and doing nothing. Those are the things that we must stop wastage.
So in your mathematics,
once we stop wastage, those funds, because they are available, we apply them prudently for the benefit of the people of Kenya, for services. That's what I'm saying.
what percentage of the budget for government should be slashed? If you
I wouldn't have the figures of what we need to do. I need to get into office and put it down and see what is wastage and what is useful. Yeah, that will do. But I am clear in my mind that if you stop theft at the top by the president, the rest will follow.
It's a year to election, Mheshimiwa. I'm trying to get into your tangible movements.
You will have my manifesto soon, don't worry.
Because this is also a conversation in your political spheres, where there's a conversation that the opposition are all about one term but no specific agenda.
Hold your horses. I'll be having an election manifesto explaining to the people of Kenya what I'll do for them if I'm president.
When should we expect that manifesto?
Just hold your horses, just wait.
For now, you don't have any general structure.
It's being worked on. There are people working on it. It's a good document. It needs to be worked on. There are many technical people who are helping us to think through. We are giving our own input. We have input from other Kenyans. We are listening to many people. In the fullness of time, we'll have an election manifesto. You'll be able to ask me questions based on my proposal.
Umezungumzia maswali ya ufisadi kwa kina kabisa. Je, kuna maybe the pillars that top notch that you would want to maybe share with us in terms of what you envision if at all you are elected to the President of the Republic of Kenya as we wait for your manifesto?
I have said we have to deal with corruption.
Apart from corruption,
yeah.
Any other thing that you see?
We need to restore institutions of governance. We need to restore the independence of parliament. You know, we need to make sure that there is no interference in the criminal justice system. I've just seen they are harassing Tuju. They have slapped him with a demand of 650 million by KRA. They are using that body. After harassing him, the man is in hospital. That guy had a bad accident. He injured his spine. He was mishandled by police. He is in hospital. He has not killed anybody. He has not done anything that would warrant that kind of violence against him. The man is in ICU. They have now using KRA to intimidate him so that he can shut up. We must stop the use of the criminal justice system to manage politics. We must stop using police to deal with the business people. I said the other week, there is a tender, there is work to be done at the Nairobi Railway City that is funded by the British. And there was a tender, and one company quoted 22 billion shillings. The one that the president prefers, called CRBC, who are doing everything. They are doing the Talanta Stadium, they are doing SGR, they are doing Bombers of Kenya, they are doing JKIA, they are doing everything in this country. They quoted 29 billion, a difference of 7 billion. Then the ones who quoted 22 billion, who are the people who had been recommended to do that tender, they went to the appeals tribunal for procurement to intimidate them and to stop them from complaining. They were rounded up from Usenge, where they are doing a road, and put in a plane and deported to China.
Yeah.
Those are things we must stop.
Okay.
The use of the criminal justice system to do politics and also to intimidate business people to the advantage of the powers that be.
All right.
These are the things that we must work on.
There's a question here from Steve Ogola. He says, please ask Honorable Rigathi Gachagua this question. Going by his logic of negotiated political settlements, what does DCP or his political faction offer the Luo nation as the alternative to be able to work with him in the lead up to 2027 election?
Well, we don't just offer the Luo nation, we offer the people of Kenya good governance. We want good governance. Our slogan is listen to the people, listen to Kenyans. You must govern the people of Kenya the way they want to be governed, because they are our employers. They are the ones who give you power, and that power must be exercised in accordance with their wishes. I'm not just offering the Luo nation a good government. I'm just offering the people of Kenya good governance where their voice matters. When the people of Kenya say they don't want housing, I told William Ruto, there is a lot of complaint. People feel that the responsibility of government is to provide services, roads, water, electricity, sewage, drainage, security. They want houses to be left to the private sector. He told me, you don't have to do what is popular, you do what is right. And I told him, I agree with you. You don't do what is popular, you do what is right. But if the majority of the people who have given you the job decide what you are doing is not right, you cannot argue with them. So I am saying what I'm offering to the people of Kenya, the Luo nation is part of the Kenyan nation. It's good governance, it's transparency, it's accountability, it's checks and balances, it's the supremacy of institutions of governance, where we allow institutions to play their rightful role. That's what Mwai Kibaki did, and he was a very successful president. He allowed institutions to work, and he let everybody work. He did not micromanage the country. He didn't try to do everything by himself. You never saw Mwai Kibaki on top of a vehicle. You know, we have a president who was elected. When you are looking for leadership, there is nothing wrong with you being on top of a vehicle. But once you are elected, you settle down in Harambee House, you settle down in State House and work. You know, you can't be on. I saw him in the Luo Nation 5 days. He was on top of the vehicle abusing us. You must sit in an office and put in hard work. Sit on a desk, get briefs, digest them, and give guidance and give direction as to what will happen. We want to restore the dignity of the presidency. We want to get the Kenyan president to get back to office and work for the people of Kenya. From Harambee House, from State House. I am not going to be a president. If I am elected president of the Republic of Kenya, you will never see me on top of the vehicle. I'll either be in office or I'll be in State House working.
All right. We're about to give you a chance to give closing remarks because we're running out of time here. But there's a question here from one Eric Okach from Kisumu. This says the families say it's a rather insensitive question, but we'll just ask it because the people have asked. Can you respond to Ruto about the murder of girls after impregnating them? Eric Okach from Kisumu.
I cannot respond to nonsense, pettiness, and gossip. President has sunk too low. He has become a gossiper. Instead of addressing real issues affecting this country has a debt of 14 trillion. He is not bothered. We are facing a crisis on fuel shortage. He is not addressing it. He is on top of a vehicle saying that somebody's cow has died because of a tick. What kind of pettiness is that? Hata ng'ombe ya mtu ikikufa na wewe ni president, unaongea hiyo ni maneno ya ujinga na fitina.
He says he's only dedicating 1% of his time to respond to you. No. You're the one who started this
but the kind of things he's talking do not warrant my response. They are too petty and too childish. Let me talk about one thing that you never allowed me. There is a project called Koru Soin Dam. Yes. Uhuru Kenyatta allocated 20 billion. That was a dam that would serve the people of Kericho and the people of Kisumu. It would address the floods in Nyando so that when it rains, the water can go to that dam. That dam would have produced electricity for the Luo nation. It would have given water for domestic and for irrigation. William Ruto removed that 20 billion. When he comes to Nyanza, the people of Nyanza must ask him, why did you remove the 20 billion from this project that Uhuru Kenyatta had given the people of Nyanza?
Are you aware that there's an appeals by the two contractors contesting the award of the tender for that particular project?
Kabonyo Fisheries Training School, 3 billion shillings through the Hungary nation allocated by Uhuru Kenyatta. It was going on, it has stalled. The people should have asked him, instead of abusing Rigathi Gachagua, tell us about these projects. When you look at the sugar factories, Miwani, Soni, Moroni, Chemilil, they have all been sold to people. 10.2 billion shillings owed to employees of that region. People are committing suicide. Their properties are being auctioned. I did not hear a single...
How many people have committed suicide so far with regards to this?
Quite a number. Sikusikia kiongozi hata moja, Oburu, nani, Suluhu, hakuna mtu aliuliza Ruto, hii 10.2 billion, mutalipa hii wafanyikazi lini? Mambo ya wakulima, they are owed almost 500 million for these sugar factories that were sold without public participation. Those are the things I wanted us to discuss. And what did
you do during your tenure as the deputy president to address the issues of the sugar subsector in the region and the economy and aquaculture?
The horses have left the stable. William Ruto has sold those factories to Asians and other people.
I'm asking when
these factories,
during your tenure,
these factories, the people of Nyanza should have been given an opportunity to buy shares. They would have owned them and they would take care of them. But they were sold to Ruto's friends. We are now there in Nyatike. There is gold. Chinese have been given the rights to come and prospect and also to do the processing. Why can't people from Nyanza be given an opportunity to participate in the prospecting of gold and processing of gold?
All right.
Those are the issues I had wanted us to discuss. The issue of fish, let me tell you, my brother, instead of William Ruto coming to the Luo Nation to abuse Rigathi Gachagua the way he was abusing Raila Odinga, what you need to do for the Luo Nation, and that is what I will do when I'm president, we must discuss the resource given by God, fish, in the Lake Victoria. If you really want to empower the Luo Nation, forget about all these other things, is to come up with processing plants, is to come up with empowerment for people to be given fishing nets, to be given boats to go and get fish. Because this fish is very expensive. It's unfortunate that people are wallowing in poverty when they have a resource next to them, they are in the lake.
Are you admitting that during your tenure as the deputy president, you couldn't push for the Luo agenda in terms of
There's
Luo
nothing
economy?
I could push for. The government that I was deputy president is a one-man show. William Ruto micromanages everything. He even advises his own advisors on how to advise him. He decides everything. We were just there, just struggling, trying to make ends meet. And he sets you there, he sets you there and there. But he does everything. And that is what we want to change. We want to have a government that has institutions that are working. Okay. People who have been appointed, they can go and work.
All right.
And let me also tell
I'd like to give you a chance for closing remarks because we've run out of time here. But I was looking at the Kurusoin dam that you talked about. There was no 20 billion that was allocated. In fact, it was 2 billion. It was allocated but removed in 2020 because it was too little for the project, which was 19 billion. That you can't put that 20 billion could not be allocated in that financial year. But even then,
have you been told what happened?
Let's have your final comments because we've run out of time here. Just a minute.
Well, Trevor, you have been very biased in this show, which is very unprofessional. Because anyway, let me not go into that. Let me say my closing remarks. I've heard these people talk about broad-based, and the Luo Nyanza is in government because of 2 ministers. The Luo Nyanza had a vice president called Ramogi, but they still agitated for justice and rights. They never became complacent because they had a vice president. The Luo Nation has had a prime minister. Raila and the Luo people still stood for what is right and justice. The people of Nyanza cannot be bought by positions. During Moi's time, out of 18 MPs, 17 were ministers and assistant ministers. But the Luo Nation still stood for what is true and right. I want to tell the Luo Nation, you have 2 cabinet positions. Wadai is there for energy. More than 70% of the Luo Nation has no electricity. It doesn't meet because Wadai is eating, the Luo Nations are eating. We in the mountain have 8 ministers, but we are opposed to William Ruto because he is doing the wrong things. And those 8 positions are for individual ministers and their families. So these 2 positions the Luo Nation have are for those 2 families. It cannot be that the community now can become complacent. They cannot question what is wrong. They cannot question what is not going on well in the country. They cannot demand what is rightfully theirs and they pay taxes because they have 2 cabinet positions. The Luo Nation has always had very senior positions, but it's a dignified community that has always stood for what is true and what is right. I'm asking the Luo Nation, much as you have 2 cabinet positions, fight for your right.
Okay.
fight for what is just, and make sure that you position yourselves properly so that the interests of your community can be taken care of in the future.
Will you be visiting the Luo Nation soon?
Yes, I will.
When is it? When?
Soon. I'm just working my things around. I hope Raymond Omolo will not sponsor violence against me the way he has been doing in Nairobi. He's been mobilizing people in Nairobi to attack churches.
Allegations that you
it's true. He can take me to court. He organized violence in Kariobangi Church.
You have evidence for this, so you can take this to court.
Even this attack on Orengo is Omolo.
So you can take this to court?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
He is the one who has been organizing violence in Nyanza. And I want to ask Raymond Omolo, stop violence.
So when are you coming to Nyanza?
I should be coming soon.
Okay.
Will you be
fielding candidates in DCP?
Well, I'll come.
Will DCP be fielding candidates in that area?
I want to tell the Luo Nation that if ODM joins UDA, those who are independent people and minded, who are not psychophants, if you don't come to DCP, your goose is good. Yeah. You will never get the certificate. DCP is available to the Luo Nation. All those leaders who are courageous, who are brave, who believe in the people, who want to go to parliament to fight for the Luo Nation, DCP is your party. Even here in Nairobi, I have very many aspirants, who have come to DCP. Okay. And I have told the Luo Nation here in Nairobi to be careful, because previously the ODM has had 9 MPs in the city, courtesy of Wiper, courtesy of the Belembe Nation, courtesy of the Kisii Nation. Okay. Those nations are not with Ruto. Ruto has no votes in Nairobi. So if you go and make a partnership with Ruto, where will you get votes? Okay. You people must align yourself with the realities of Nairobi politics. All right. The Nairobi politics, as we speak today, is in the opposition. All right. So if they decide to join Ruto, they will not get a single position here in Nairobi. And I'm saying, like Ruaraka, if I get a good candidate from the Luo Nation who wants to run at a DCP, hewala.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, His Excellency. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, the DCP leader and also former deputy president. Mane kama we chenru marwa maru mchijo pen. Kawuno nuwa ria yema chwalo rematin. Kwa chako kiwachi barangi chwilu mwachoko chupunya kwa imore. Kada mchijo pen bende wagoma na kaya ndigi. Ugai mara DCP kijalup jaten pen Kenya machon. Honorable Rigathi Gachagua. Nduwa konero kama na jako muroko dala ne kaya ndi makari nkubira chelga chele. Tuwak makende nwantire kagi VOJ. Victor Dino Juma.
Iro kama tuwak odhi jopiny giwegi biro ng'ado ni to oyiengore kon mane. Erokamano ahinya ne Rigathi Gachagua kuom miwa thuolo, kendo jopiny bende mar go kodwa mbaka. En ema oluongowa ka nyakwar Mgajwang' kaka ne wachake ni to nodwaro ang'o, hie momiyo oluongowa ka, tiwinjo mana kod iti kaka oduoko penjo mane kaka en. Ka ok kamano Trevor, en kinde mar goriti nikech gimoro amora nigi sane. Tantie kod gen ni nitie gik manyien ma jopiny bende opuonjore e twak mane wan go odiochieng' ma kawuono.
Sa koro chopo, wanodwoko nwero kamano kweti Ramogi TV kan kaka pile nyinga Trevor Ombinja. Janding opanga jonyakach dendo nombija taya nyakwar guok ocha pesa. George Bati Daddy Cool bro biro mondo nyis weche mosebedo katimore pacho ka dwoko nwero kamano ahinya kuom Ramogi TV ka.